In this video, we're talking to Bearded Ford Tech about the Ford 6.7 upper oil pan leak. What causes it and what you can do to fix it. Let's get into it. Anthony, thanks for being here. Appreciate you coming on the channel again.
Thank you for having me.
A while ago, well, 6 months ago, got a leak in my pan, and you helped me diag it with some of the black light magic with the oil additive, and we did figure out it is indeed my upper pan leaking. I had kind of been talking to you about maybe what to do to fix it, and when I had shared the photo of my pan leaking for the second time, I might add, you had a pretty interesting story about what's causing this, because I went to the dealer, I followed and did what Ford said, did it under warranty the first time, and now we're back at square one. So I'm curious, could you tell us the story about what's causing this issue?
So there's a couple things that cause it. Excessive crankcase pressure, which would be the CCV box. That's probably not an issue on your truck. The other thing would be prepping it wrong and using the wrong sealant. Now, in the workshop manual, when you're doing it under warranty, it tells you to use TA357.
Okay.
That stuff sucks. Like, just plain and simple. I don't use the TA357. I use the TA31. So does PowerStroke Tech Talk with A-Rod. I used to have tubes of that at my toolbox, and TA357, slap it back on there like you're supposed to, doing it correctly, and never had one leak after that. So, but there's a process. You have to prep it. You have to use. Have you ever seen the Motorcraft metal surface prep wipes? They're in the big tub.
I don't think so. No, I haven't.
Just the tub of that is like $115, and there's only like 30 wipes in there. It gets all the oil residue off of the bottom of the engine block. So my hand's blurry. And it kind of etches it, I guess you could say. Because if you touch it with your finger and you can feel the oil residue on there, and then you use that surface prep wipe, and then you touch it with your finger afterwards, it's got like a rough feeling to it. And it allows the sealant to sink, like mate with it. You know what I mean?
With the metal.
Yes. And you're supposed to surface prep wipe the pan as well before you apply it. Once you apply it, you got about 5 minutes so you can stick it. And then once you stick it, hope you don't mess it up putting it in there, because then you're going to take it down and redo it. But
dang. So you're saying that per Ford, most shops are using a crappy sealant. And I mean, what's causing that? Like, why wouldn't Ford or the dealer like realize, oh, we're getting a bunch of people coming back for pan reseals? Like there was a gentleman that told me he's had his pan done 3 times. I mean, it's
3 times at a dealer under warranty. They're probably using the TA357. Not saying they did, not saying they didn't. I don't know. They may have not have prepped it correctly. Not saying they did, not saying they didn't. Like I said, there is steps. You have to drain the oil. You have to remove the transmission. You have to let this thing just drip dry. Then you have to surface prep it. Surface prep the pan, put everything back in there. There is very tedious steps you have to do. But when you're working at a dealer, you want to try to hurry up and get it done as quick as possible. They may have been rushing it, but 3 times in a row, come on. I would have used the TA29. I don't know if he used that or not. I couldn't tell you. So I'll use that, or I have used the right stuff, the black one. You said you used it on your diff cover. That's pretty good stuff as well. One of my friends, he's a technician at a dealership. He uses the right stuff. So he hasn't had any problems with them leaking using that either. But go ahead.
I was just say, so it sounds like it's at this point, it depends too whether or not you get a good technician. So if it's like you or PTT or your friend, you kind of know that sealant's junk, and you would kind of circumvent the dealer and get your own stuff and make the customer happy instead of just getting the job done and sending them out the door.
And I'm not saying any of these technicians were doing anything wrong.
Right.
They may have missed a step. They may not. It may be the sealant, the TA357. I don't know why Ford says to use that, and that's what comes from the factory. It could also be that there's not enough sealant applied to it.
Right. But I mean, what it sounds like you're saying is it's just there's a lot of places where you could screw something up when doing this work.
Yes.
And so there's just it can happen easily.
And after you put it to the bottom of the engine and you bolt it down, you're supposed to let it sit again before you ever put any fluid in it.
Hmm.
So you don't want any oil mixed in with the sealant. It's not going to seal.
Right.
So
Right. No, that's really interesting. And yeah, it's either the improper sealant's what's causing it, or for a lot of people, like you were saying, it's the crankcase pressure from not replacing the CCV or having some oil pressure issue.
you know how to check that, don't you?
The oil pressure? No.
Yeah. No, not the oil pressure, the CCV pressure, crankcase pressure. You just let the truck run and then open the oil cap. And
Oh, right. Yeah. And if
yep.
it's pushing a bunch of vapor out the cap, yeah.
If it blows the cap off or pops the cap off, you got too much pressure.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood, I've never had that issue.
I forgot what year it was. I know 11 through 14 and 15 have like that filter inside of them that you can replace the filter. Those are garbage. Get rid of those. The baffled ones, so there's no filter to replace that. That will cut down on that dramatically.
Okay.
And I do know the ones on the 23, 24 models will fit older versions as well.
Okay. And how often would you recommend the CCV box be changed?
30, 50K. Check
Okay.
it. At least check it once a month. So 30 to 50K. And the reason I had you use the dye is because of where it looked like it was leaking. It looked like it was coming down and then running along the pan. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't your injector to valve cover seals leaking.
Okay.
Because sometimes those will leak. The front cover will leak too, because there's a gasket behind the cover.
Right.
Sometimes it'll leak and run down the oil pan.
Okay.
So that's why I had you use that black light magic trick.
Right.
So
Use the dye. Right. Well, I mean, that's the issue. So what are someone's options who have, people who are having this leak? I know obviously the one that I'm using right now is just let it seep because I don't have to add any oil, but what are the other legitimate options that are out there?
Legitimate options are check your CCV box, make sure it's good, replace it if you need to. Pull the pan, reseal it with either the TA 29 or the TA 31 or the Right Stuff, which is the black sealant, or you can get a 2011 oil pan that has the gasket inside of it.
Right.
I don't know why they did it for 2011 only, and then 2012 it went to sealant, but it'll fit. So that's another option if you can find one.
Guess they decided having a gasket in the pan was too expensive.
Yeah, it's supposed to be cost savings to use sealant, and now they're doing more oil pans under warranty than they were with gasket on it. I don't know. I don't work for the finance department. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, cool. Thank you. I mean, it's good to know that that's potentially where the issue's coming from. I mean, obviously I think there's some people who just never change their CCV box and don't stay up on that. But like the guys that are commenting on my channel and me that still are getting these leaks they take meticulous care of their truck. You know what I mean? If they did a CCV reroute, 1 or 2, they replace the CCV box religiously. They don't have too much crankcase pressure and they're still getting the leak. At that point, it's definitely not someone abusing the truck. It seems to me it's a Ford related issue.
That would be sealant. It could be improperly installed, improperly prepped, not enough sealant put on it. So it could be 5 or 6 different things.
Yeah.
So the only way to know is when we pull your oil pan down and we do a video together, pulling your oil pan down. We'll be able to see.
We'll be able to see. Yeah. Well, we'll get it sorted. You even did a video recently where you put a borescope inside of was that your Ranger
That's
engine?
my Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah. Into the lower pan to see if there was any sludge buildup.
None. I did it through the valve cover too.
That's cool. Yeah.
Next I'll borescope my cylinders because I just want to see what they look like, and people keep asking me, so I'll put spark plugs and borescope the cylinder.
That would be cool. That'd be really cool. Yeah. Well, stay tuned for those videos. Anthony, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And thank you to the viewer for sticking around. We appreciate you being here. Cheers.